everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Epic Attack Chomp Back Baryonyx. So I recently picked this up at a Walmart here. It wasn't my local Walmart, but just a Walmart. And this is one I've been wanting to get, only because, it's Baryonyx. It's my favorite dinosaur, so I thought, why not? And I love the Jurassic Park Baryonyx. And, this review is kind of special because this is my very first Epic Attack dinosaur in my collection. This line of the electronic battle damage figures, they're cool looking, but they weren't quite something I was totally interested in, especially their smaller figures that weren't really quite in scale. They were kind of too big, to fit the electronics and all that. And I just wasn't really interested in them at all. So I found it kind of hard to have at least one Epic Attack dinosaur in my collection. I was going to get the Carnotaurus originally, but then that's when the Hammond Collection Carnotaurus came out, and I was like, nope, I'm going to move on to the Hammond Collection instead. I was tempted to get the Pyroraptor, but I thought, nah, I'll just wait, because chances are Mattel is going to come out with a more movie-accurate Pyroraptor, which they are, thanks to the Hammond Collection. So, yeah, this is my very first Epic Attack dinosaur, and it's a Baryonyx, and I thought this one is really cool looking and definitely worth getting to have an Epic Attack dinosaur in my collection. So, plus I kind of have some ideas for this dinosaur in future movies of mine, so I thought, why not? But yeah, let's take a look at the box here. So since this is my first Epic Attack dinosaur, as you can see here in the packaging, it looks pretty nice. I really do like the aesthetic that's going on here. Here you got a really cool look at the logo that's kind of all covered in algae, and it's just kind of like dirty and covered in greenery, because it kind of matches Jurassic Park. Then you got a really beautiful logo of just Jurassic World right there. It looks really nice. Epic Attack logo, Mattel. It's got 3 levels of intensifying damage, so that's pretty interesting because it's got the electronic light up damage feature, which we'll get into more of that in the review. You got some pictures of how the figure works. It's electronic and it makes lights and sounds. The background looks pretty good too. It looks like it's in like a swampy area of the jungle, and I don't know if this is supposed to be like there's a fire going on in the jungle, but I'm kind of getting the hint of a really warm, dramatic sunset on this swampy part of an island, whether it's Nublar or Sorna or whatever. But it looks really cool. It matches the pack. The whole thing is just really cool looking, and the Baryonyx fits really perfectly. Here on the side, it just says Jurassic World. On the other side, Epic Damage. And then here on the back just shows you cool render of the figure. You can push buttons to make the mouth move and all that. Multiple activation areas with different, lights and sounds and whatnot. So pretty cool there. Really do like that a lot. Chomp Back Baryonyx, some facts up information. Also some other figures in the line. The Pyroraptor and Herosaurus, which I'm not really planning on getting. The Baryonyx is kind of all I need for right now. But yeah, looks really cool though. And this is a really big Baryonyx too, much bigger than the previous ones. So let's get a closer look at this figure. Alrighty, here we have the Baryonyx out of the package. And yeah, my overall thoughts of this figure, just by looking at it straight on out of the box, it looks really good. I really do enjoy this Baryonyx a lot. Obviously, like I said, I wasn't totally interested in a lot of the Epic Attack line figures, but I knew I had to have at least one figure from that line in my collection, so at least I have something. And this Baryonyx was a pretty good choice, pretty good opportunity to have one of these in my collection. And yeah, just basically looking at it, it's a really great one. I'm really impressed with the amount of detail that is packed on this Baryonyx figure, and it just looks really good. I've always loved the Jurassic Park Baryonyx, like I said, and seeing all this detail on one figure representing that is pretty awesome, I will say. Just by looking at it head on, I already have probably just one little minor complaint, and that's the really extremely short tail. That's not really proportionate with this figure at all. Mattel's been doing really well with proportions with their, most of their figures, starting with, this year, at least, maybe a little bit last year as well, but Mattel's been doing really good with their proportions, and I'm just it's kind of a missed opportunity, kind of unfortunate that they didn't apply a longer tail to this Baryonyx, because it is pretty short, as you can see right there. So it's not long at all. It's pretty short and puny, which is, you know, unfortunate. But and actually not only that there is literally no paint on the tail except for the base paint, but you don't have this green connected or going onto the tail, which kind of adds more to the negative looks for this tail, with the lack of paint and obviously it being extremely short. But minus that, the rest of the figure is pretty great. I like it a lot. So we'll go ahead and take a closer look here. We'll start off with the head, which is probably my favorite part of this figure. Look at this head. This is a really great sculpted head right here of the Jurassic Baryonyx. It looks really good, actually. I'm really in love with the head sculpt on this Baryonyx. Just looks really good. It looks just like the ones from the movie. I'm really loving the amount of scale detail all over the head right here. It kind of allows you to get a good look at the close-up of this head, since a lot of the times in the movies, the Baryonyx didn't really get a whole lot of close-ups where you can just take in all the awesome detail it has on the CGI sculpt. But looking at this figure right here, it kind of allows us to kind of do that, and I really do liking the head sculpt in this one. Yes, it's a Jurassic Park Baryonyx, so it's not going to look incredibly accurate to the real Baryonyx, you know, because the head's obviously the snout was a bit thick. It's not as thin. It's obviously missing its signature crest here at the top of the head. But hey, it's Jurassic Park. You're not going to get everything accurate. You know, that's part of what makes those movies, you know, what they are. But I really do love it a lot. And yeah, and this is probably what I really wish the Hammond Collection head of the Baryonyx looked like. And I like that one a lot. You know, the detail is good on that one. The articulation is obviously spot on. But looking at that one compared to the more recent Hammond Collection figures, that Baryonyx is definitely, the detail is definitely not as cool as the more current ones, like the Giga, which a lot of those Hammond Collection dinosaurs need an update anyway. I just think it would be really cool to have the Hammond Collection Baryonyx have this kind of head, you know, with the really nice movie accurate sculpt, all this nice scale detail, and obviously the sharper, more thin rubber teeth, which looks awesome on this one. Much better than the painted teeth from the past Baryonyx figures. This thing just looks really good with the teeth, like really good. Yeah, they look really good on this one, even at the lower jaw, which they're kind of a bit small on the lower jaw. I wish they were kind of sticking out a little bit more, but it's nothing too bad. I just think they look really nice. With the mouth closed, it looks good. The mouth open, it looks good. I love the head looking straight on. Like, that's such a really creepy looking Baryonyx head. You know, very classic Jurassic in my opinion. So yeah, really nice there. You got the nice little nostrils sculpted out right there. Basically, the rest of the head sculpt is really nice with all this scale detail. And then here at the inside of the mouth is really nicely sculpted. Here at the tongue and the gum flaps, and obviously here at the roof of the mouth, nicely sculpted here with some more sculpt back there where the dinosaur would swallow its food. So yeah, really nicely done. And the rest of the body is pretty typical for a Mattel Baryonyx sculpt, but I will say it's definitely a lot accurate to the one in the movie. Even more accurate than the Hammond Collection one. That one didn't even have a full-on accurate, you know, movie accurate sculpt in the body. This one, even some of the other figures from the Dinoscape toy line, and then I think Grimm from the Camp Cretaceous toy line, had a lot more movie accurate sculpts in the body, and I really appreciate that on this Baryonyx. So here at this part of the head, you know, it's pretty smooth sculpt work up here, so there's not a whole lot going on. A lot of lined texture sculpted in right here. And then moving on to this part of the neck, you got some more kind of muscles or veins peeking through with some more of the line texturing, and you got some of the more scutes and osteoderms poking out right here. And then it really shines here at the body. The body here contains a really lot of nice detail. Here on the back, you got the signature, you know, Jurassic World Baryonyx sculpt with the scutes and spikes or bumps on its back much like crocodilians, which works well for a Spinosaur, especially Baryonyx. And yeah, it just looks really nice there, really nicely sculpted, very accurate to the ones in the movie. And the rest of the body is like in this nice lined texture sculpt work going on here, which looks pretty cool. And you got some more other extra lines for the creases and folds in the skin. And you also got some nice muscle definition poking out here and there. You can see where the shoulder blade area would be, looking really nice. And you got some more nice lined texture going on right there as well. And also another cool thing is on the underside, you got the signature crocodilian looking scales on the underbelly, which is very accurate to the Jurassic Baryonyx. And it looks pretty darn good, I would say. Nicely sculpted, and it kind of ends right here before the articulated joint of the tail, and as well as the neck. So it's only on the body. Unfortunately, it's not on the neck or even on the bottom of the tail, but it is a nice look, because I think this Baryonyx, along with the Hammond Collection one, are the only Mattel Baryonyxes that have this signature scale work on the underside of the Baryonyx. The other ones do not. It's just plain scales like the face right here. Looking on to the arms, they're looking really nice with the amount of sculpt work. Well, it's all just lines, but it looks really good. Not a whole lot of muscle definition, but they are nice, muscular looking hands. And you got the signature hands of a Baryonyx with the large thumb claw right here. Very famous for this dinosaur. And you got the other two claws, which look really nice. They're pretty much the same as the past Baryonyx figures. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot different going on there. Then moving on to the legs, pretty simple as well. You got some nice muscle definition poking out here and there. The rest of the figures sculpted in like this lined texture, which looks pretty nice. Moving on to the bottom, the legs look nice as well. The feet, nicely done. Typical Baryonyx feet from the other figures that we've gotten from Mattel. The nice scoots going on here on the feet look really nice. The claws look really nice, and they're painted, so that's a plus. Here on the underside, we just got some more lined texture along with the T-Rex logo, and the dew claw sculpted back there as well. And the feet have like this weird other like added pad here on the back to probably help it stand. It's kind of weird though. The feet look kind of weird, I admit. The feet really should, like, at least by this ankle, could curve down, so much like the older figures, which we'll take a look at when we look at comparisons. And then finally, you have the tail. It's pretty much, you got some, you know, muscle definition, some more creases poking through, along with the classic lined texture that goes pretty much all throughout the rest of the tail, and the more of those crocodilian looking scoots that go to the tip of the tail. So that's really nice there. Yeah, pretty happy with this one. Here is the scan code for this Baryonyx for anyone who needs that. But yeah, sculpt work is amazing on this Baryonyx, without a doubt, and I'm very pleased with it. Going on with colors, now I can't be the only one that sees this, but these colors are obviously based off of Grimm, the Baryonyx from Camp Cretaceous Season 2. Because, you know, it's got like this lighter beige color, then you got the greens up top, and then you got the red that highlights around the eye, and that's pretty much Grimm. Now, this is not supposed to represent Grimm. I think Mattel just chose this color scheme. However, I think I'm starting to think that this could be based off of Chaos Theory. There was one Baryonyx shown in Chaos Theory that actually had the same colors as Grimm. Obviously, it wasn't Grimm because she died in Camp Cretaceous Season 2, but it showed that there is another Baryonyx out there with the same color scheme. So that could be what this figure is based off of. So this one could be some sort of a Chaos Theory toy, but yeah, I mean, the colors are pretty much reminiscent to that one as well as Grimm, and it looked pretty good. I really like the color, how they're applied on the head. I like the really dark green and how they kind of sprinkle down into the lighter color. And then you got the red kind of highlighted around the eye. And I really like this bright turquoise color sprinkled around the face right here. It looks really nice. Adds to like the cool realistic detail of this Baryonyx head. And then obviously the orange eyes with the black slit for a pupil looks great. Very crocodilian-like, but also very accurate to the Jurassic Baryonyx. Yeah, looks really good. I really like the head on this one. Teeth are molded in like that lighter plastic color. And then the inside of the mouth is like this purple, fleshy color, which, you know, looks good. And like I said, the rest of the body is like this kind of orangish, sandish, tannish, lighter beige color, I guess is what you can call it. And it's got like a darker forest green for the upper half, as well as here in the legs. I really wish the green probably would have continued to the tail. Literally the lack of paint on the tail kind of makes it look dead. The tail, not the rest of the figure. Would have been nice to have some paint go onto the tail. That's just my opinion. But I do like I said, the toe claws are painted. Would have been nice for the finger claws to be painted, but you know, it is what it is. I am curious though, what if Mattel were to later on, just like what they did to the teeth right here, if they decide to like add a separate molded plastic for the claws in a certain color, probably like this white color, that way they're not having to worry about painting it. I don't know, I mean, that's kind of interesting to think about. Maybe that will allow more budget to go towards maybe paint application, maybe for some of their figures, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of an interesting choice, but I doubt they do that because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense as it does with the teeth right here. But I don't know, who knows. Colors are very basic though for the most part, but it looks pretty good. I think it would be really cool if the colors here would have been like the original Baryonyx colors from Fallen Kingdom. If they added those colors to this size of a figure, I think that'd be pretty cool, especially with the turquoise here. I think that would look awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for colors. Pretty basic, but I like it a lot. Now let's go ahead and look at articulation. There isn't necessarily a whole lot. A lot of the features here are tied to the action feature, but you got well articulated arms here at the shoulders. They can pivot in and out, and they can move forward and backwards. So pretty standard for this Baryonyx toy, which is nice. You don't need any action features for the arms. Just have it articulated. It would be pretty nice. And then here at the legs, they just move basically forward, actually back about that far, and then forward, at least on mine, about that far. Though it kind of, maybe it depends on the leg, so. Okay, so this one can move forward. I guess it's just the way the legs are positioned, so maybe the sculpt kind of interferes with that. The thighs here can also pivot in and out, so that's really nice. And then you got some articulation on the ankles, which I try not to use because it breaks up the sculpt. And then the tail here is kind of on the ball joint. You can't really leave it up because it slumps down. And I even checked all the other Baryonyxes when I found this at the store. They all do this. And it can go down left or right. And it can also spin. So you got some decent articulation there. Though it doesn't really help considering the tail is like super small. But yeah, that's pretty much it for articulation. Very basic for a Baryonyx, which I like it. It doesn't need to be anything too fancy. And yeah, everything else is tied to the action feature. So this is an epic damage, or I think epic attack, I'm already forgetting, feature where it comes with glow in the dark battle wounds, which for a Jurassic Park figure, I'm not totally on board with glow in the dark features unless it's like a bioluminescent Parasaurolophus or a camouflaging feature on an Indominus. But other than that, it's kind of weird to have that. And that's something that was kind of weird with the original Hasbro Jurassic World figures. But I think it's pretty cool how the glow-in-the-dark feature pretty much only lights up the scars, which looks pretty cool. And it's like this bright red, which actually looks like it's a fresh, deep cut from a incoming battle. Also, totally forgot to mention before we move on to this dinosaur also has some of that marbling effect with some other color plastic molded into the initial plastic. Now I picked one purposefully with this added portion here on the jaw, which I know some people don't like it, but I really do. It kind of adds to the detail of this figure, and I just got it because it just kind of looks pretty cool in my opinion. And you got some more of that here in the bottom and all that. Back to action features, we got a button right here that activates pretty much a neck and jaw articulated joint. which looks really cool when you open the mouth like this, but it's not articulated. It's part of the action feature. But basically you press it. So as you can see, when you press it, the neck moves and the jaw snaps. I'm gonna make some noises, and we'll go over the noises in a second, but and you can see that part of the neck glows. That's pretty cool. Looks like it's battle damaged. And then you got another button here that activates, I think, just this wound. Kind of hard to see, but there you go. So yeah, the wounds glow in the dark, which I do like. I like how only the wounds glow and not the whole button itself. That was something I was kind of worried about when this line was first revealed. Like, it's gonna be just the whole button that makes that glows in the dark, but nope. It's just the claw marks, which look pretty cool, and it's bright enough where you can kind of almost see it, but it needs to be slightly darker. Now, also because there has like levels of intensifying damage or something like that, you can actually press it multiple times and both of these glow and it makes some extra noises. So that's pretty cool. So when you do that, it flashes on both of them. Pretty cool stuff. Obviously, I didn't get this specifically for this. I mean, technically I did, so I can have one in my collection, but I really wanted it because it was just a Baryonyx. So, but it's cool. It's very interesting. You can kind of see it there. There you go. Really cool stuff. Now, in terms of the sounds, they're not the best. They just gave this one Indominus Rex sounds. So I don't know what's up with Mattel and maybe not finding Baryonyx sounds, but the Baryonyx has appeared in, let's see, 2 live-action movies so far and an animated series, and the sound effects were all over that. And yet, we have yet to get an electronic Baryonyx toy with the official Jurassic Park Baryonyx sound effects. And yeah, I'm surprised we haven't even gotten any of that yet. So it's a little disappointing that we just got Indominus Rex noises, but you know, it is what it is. So for comparisons, we will compare this Baryonyx with a generic Mattel Baryonyx, and we're gonna take out the original Fallen Kingdom Roar of Wars Baryonyx, which I have a really nice soft spot for, because this was my very first Jurassic Park Baryonyx, and it's a lot of nostalgic, you know, vibes just from this figure itself. See, I really do like this one a lot. This one is pretty much a good example of a generic sized Baryonyx, and as you can see, yeah, this new one is absolutely huge. It is a really big Baryonyx, definitely not to scale, that's for sure, but it is a really cool big figure nonetheless. Also, I have like a few ideas for, you know, potential movie sequences, and I was planning on doing something using this huge size of a Baryonyx and maybe doing something like like a super Baryonyx, where it's just a Baryonyx that has grown to a massive size when compared to its original counterparts. That just makes it a monster, and it's a bit stronger than its other ones. Big enough to potentially take on a Spinosaurus and obviously go head to head with like a Suchomimus or something. But I don't know, I just thought that would be a kind of cool idea, considering there was an idea like that, I believe, in the Lost World, where they were considering doing something like a Super Raptor. So I thought, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to do that with this Baryonyx and have it be like a Super Baryonyx. But either way, this is pretty cool here, seeing these 2 different scales. And here we got a random human. This is one I just quickly grabbed. It's one of the Lockwood Estate guards. And as you can see, yeah, this Baryonyx is huge. Definitely really scary if I had to come across something like this. So this is a pretty good size right here for a normal Baryonyx, and then you got this beast right here. But yeah, looks pretty good. And last but not least, here we got the new Baryonyx compared with the Camp Cretaceous Sound Strike, I believe is what it is. Baryonyx Grim from the Camp Cretaceous toy line. And as you can see, they are definitely very similar. Obviously, this one's based off of this type of color scheme. It's just kind of slightly different. But you can kind of see how similar they are with the beige underside and then the green on the top. And then it's got like the red highlighted around the eye, which look pretty cool in my opinion. Now see this, I really like the colors on this one, maybe slightly more. I don't know why, maybe I just do, but the darker ones are pretty cool too. I really wish this one had like this lighter color striping the, outlining the green. That'd be really cool to add that to this figure. And obviously this one has the green continuing onto the tail, which makes the tail look a lot better. And it's slightly better proportionate, slightly, than this one is. This one is just lacking paint and it's like super, super small. And as you can see here, the feet here are kind of nicely shaped, whereas this one has like this weird extra padding on the back, which kind of gives it like this really weird look. I know it's used for stability, but I'm pretty sure people would get it to stand if it was kind of like this. So anyways, that's that. Alright everyone, so that's about to wrap it up for this review. For my final thoughts, I really do like this Baryonyx a lot. I highly recommend it. Just for a cool Jurassic Park Baryonyx toy. Just for it being what it is, I think it's kind of worth having. Especially for those of you who may be a fan of the Baryonyx design for the Jurassic franchise. I am, but you know, not everyone is. But I really like it. It's got nice sculpt work, very movie accurate, especially in the head and the body region. Decent articulation, nothing too special, but that's pretty much the way I like it. And the action features are pretty cool too, even though it's nothing too special in my opinion. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Looks pretty cool though. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. So hope you guys enjoy this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next review.